This is the video review for the first functional prototype of the Little Orphan Android figure. It's this one right here, and as you can see, it's dwarfed by even a legend-sized figure. And it's only a little bit bigger than what essentially is a Lego minifigure. And this thing makes it look absolutely minuscule. So, I'm going to get the size comparisons away, and I'll show you the actual figure. It's a very, well, I designed this, so I don't know how much I can say about this thing objectively, but I think it's a very nice little car, three-wheeled car thingamajigbob. And I've heard some comments that it looks more like a BattleBots wedge than a futuristic car because it's not quite round enough. It's too flat. And yeah, I see where people are coming with that, and I'm definitely going to put work into rounding out the figure in later releases, in later prototypes, and the final release. So, it's not a rolling prototype. That's for a later prototype, a bigger prototype too, because this is, well, it's not too small. It's too small for some of the things I plan on having later in the future, like a face swap gimmick. So to transform this thing, I think is actually pretty clever. You pull these out to the side, and the heels form the nose. The arms are in the back and they form the exhaust pipes, and to cover the face, pull them out to the side, rotate them around. This thing was hand painted, by the way. I dyed the pieces and then painted them, so it doesn't look the best, but that's no fault to the design or anything. That's because I suck at painting. And then you slide this up. I'll show that again. You slide this up and rotate around the head, and then push this wheel back. And that'll go under here and keep that from falling. Although the joint's tight enough that it doesn't really matter. This guy would, that middle piece would stay how it needs to. And one thing about this guy that, this isn't just a last minute, oh, well, here's how to fix this now I have it in hand. But one thing about this guy that I knew about when I started designing the legs is that if you look at his foot, it's not a flat instep, so he has trouble standing. And the solution is to turn the foot inwards so that he has two points, one here and one here, that will be in contact with the floor. And I knew about that for a long time going in, and I knew that this was the best way to solve that. And that gives him pretty good balance. Now this figure itself doesn't have great balance because, well, it's not doing it now, but sometimes, well, Shapeways didn't print the balls very well, partially because it's so small, partially because, due to the holiday rush, Shapeways has been cutting some corners, and also because I didn't design the ball joints very well. I know what I did wrong, and I fixed it. So the next prototypes should have pretty good ball joints. I had to use a fair amount of super glue to make the joints tight enough for the guy to stand. But yeah, he's a pretty neat, small little dude. And just a little bit bigger than a Lego minifigure. And completely dwarfed by a legend-sized figure. Not necessarily by height, but by mass. I mean, this guy is just so much more to him. And Little Orphan Android's just tiny. Except for his arms. And the silhouette of this guy completely enshadows him. So, for posability, it's pretty good. Actually, very good, especially considering the size of the figure. The head can turn 360. The arms can go 360 here and out. And they can even go up on this joint like this, which is actually kind of useful because of the weapon this guy has, and I'll get into that in a little bit. He has a double jointed elbow, and it's ball jointed at each point. So he has a bicep swivel here, and a bicep swivel here that can also double as a wrist swivel. So quite a bit of posability. He can do quite a bit with his arms. His legs, all the way up, all the way back, and his knees can bend a lot. And then his feet, they're not as posable as I would like, but because this wheel here, and that wheel has to be here or else it looks like he has socks that are too long and pants that are too short. His feet, they can rotate like this so there's no point to it, and they can angle down, and that does help sometimes. So pretty good posability, especially for his size. Nice stability. And his weapon, it's stored in his back. If you pull this out, you'll see he has a little slingshot in there. Now it's very hard to get this in and out. Sometimes it just falls out. Yeah, like it did just there. Sometimes it just falls out. But other times I have to get a toothpick or something to get it out. And that's one of the reasons why the later prototypes and the final product will probably be quite a bit bigger. More closer in size to a Scout. And here he is holding his little slingshot. So let me put him into a slingshotty pose. Pretty cool. Now, if you'll notice, on the face, it's pretty tiny, and it was hard to paint that. I did a pretty bad job. Part of it's because I don't have much skill with paint, but it's also because it is really tiny. So one thing I've already done is I've designed a new head that has a face swap gimmick. And what will happen is, if you pull on his cap on the later version, it'll take the face away with it, and then there will be a little eyepiece that's left behind, so the eyes could just be dyed in a blue dye, sort of like how the chest is dyed black, and the chest is dyed orange, and the sides are dyed black. It's very easy to do. So the eyes could just be dyed blue, the casing over the head could be just dyed orange, and then the faceplate itself could be dyed gray or something, and then it'd be a lot easier to do, but paint the cap and the nose red color or something. And same thing with the wheels. The wheels, they're all one piece with a lower leg here. That will not be on the final figure. The final figure will have this able to roll, so it'll plug into the side, and then this part of the wheel right here will be able to peg onto the side, so you could dye this piece here and this piece here and get it black. Same with the cockpit here. Dye it black and then peg it on, and same with that right there. And that should decrease the amount of effort it takes to take him from a white lump of plastic that looks like a pretty cool figure to a fully colored figure. And yeah, I like him. He's not the best, he has some problems, but they'll be fixed as I continue designing him. Thank you for watching.